What is up, XRP community? This is going to be a great video. I want to lead with this clip from this courageous guy talking about elections and what's going on in the US and many other countries. Many other countries have already had this freedom taken away from them. The US is seeing this in real time. Some great clips from Crypto Eerie where Raoul Pal answers questions about XRP. This is an ex-Goldman Sachs executive and a big-time investor. And not to FUD, but grayscale Bitcoin is the lowest it's been. This is how institutional investors, people with big pockets, get exposure to Bitcoin without actually buying Bitcoin. And get this week, they were asked, they allegedly have 600,000 Bitcoins, and they were asked, because all these cryptocurrency exchanges have had these meltdowns, people are saying, Grayscale, can we see your addresses? Can we see that you have proof that you have these Bitcoins? And guess what Grayscale said when people asked them for proof? They said, because of security concerns, we cannot show you where the Bitcoin is. What's security concern? It sounds the opposite, right? The cryptocurrency industry is having this big meltdown. You would think the largest institutional holder, they have 600,000 Bitcoins, right? Over $1 billion allegedly. And they can't tell us where those Bitcoins are because of security concerns. Right now, you can get a Bitcoin through Grayscale Bitcoin at a 50% discount. So people are starting to think these guys don't really have the Bitcoin they claim to have. All right, but first, let's listen to this guy.
The eyes of the world are upon Maricopa County for another botched election. Am I here to accuse you of stealing the vote? Heavens no, for that would make me a terrorist, wouldn't it? Let me ask you. If you took your life savings to a bank and the teller put them in a machine and the machine kicked out 1 out of 4 of your bills and the teller said, don't worry, we'll put them in box 3 over here and we'll let you know how many were in there later. We'll send them off to a separate location and someone will be sure to get back to you and tell you how much money you have. Would you be okay with that? No, you would not be okay with that. Now ask yourself the question, which is more valuable, your vote or your money? Now ask a lobbyist that same question. Now ask a campaign manager that question. Now ask Mark Zuckerberg that question, which is more valuable, your money or your vote or your country or this world or the corruption that is taking over every single county in this nation? And then you look into your own soul and you look back at yourself in the mirror and realize that you are the cancer that is tearing this nation apart. Good day.
I just don't really have, I can't really sum that up better than what this guy said. If you guys think politics aside, I think there's a ton of truth to this. And if you think on this kind of timeline or whatsoever, give yourself a pat on the back, because in the USA, at least, we've had, freedoms for many years. And as a young person, I see a lot of that slipping away. So people like that the future relies on. And this clip's a little bit alarming. Here we have an ex-Indonesian banker talking about the way we prevent the next pandemic. I can't say that on YouTube. And what he says is,
so let's have a digital health certificate acknowledged by WHO if you have been vaccinated or tested properly, then you can move around. So for the next pandemic, instead of stopping the movement of the people 100%, which clogged the economy globally, you can still provide some movement.
So they saw with this last shutdown that the people are willing to be controlled. They are willing to be shut down, and they are willing to be stripped of all their freedom of movement. You know the only difference between prison and being a free citizen? Freedom of movement. In prison, you are not free to go where you can. As a free citizen, you should be allowed. And the World Health Organization and these elites want to force you to have a certificate and force you to get an experimental opinions on the vaccine, the jab, opinions on that aside, it was rushed, it is experimental, and they want to require that for you to have freedom of movement. I think it's absolutely disgusting. An update on the lawsuit. CEO Brad Garlinghouse said the final arguments in the XRP lawsuit would be presented to the judge by the end of November. A lot of people were saying the lawsuit might end by the end of November. It's looking like it could be 2 to 6 months to close the case. And potentially, in my opinion, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm just a guy on YouTube. I think we could see in the next 2 to 6 months more downward action on the crypto market and potentially some crazy deals. Look at this chart, guys. It is the first time since the COVID-19 dip that Bitcoin is steering the whole crypto market. Until XRP gets a win in this lawsuit and decouples, it's going to follow Bitcoin. Look at the price right now. It is the first time since inception in the past decade that Bitcoin is falling out of its logarithmic regression band. Okay, typically this was looked at as an area of when you could buy Bitcoin for a good return, because throughout the inception, every time we got down to this dark blue panel where it says basically a fire sale, it bounced, except for this little time in March of 2020. This time we've fallen out. You see, we were on the bottom of the regression band, just barely hugging it, trying to hold on. We've fallen off the cliff, and we're seeing big institutional investors. It's almost like a coordinated attack on the crypto market. What a coincidence. And there's still a lot of house of cards to fall. Like what I was saying about grayscale Bitcoin. And I'm not trying to scare you guys, because if you take proper risk management, you should have cash set aside to be able to, and I'm talking like I'm a financial advisor, but it's very important that you know I'm not. I'm just some random guy on YouTube. So it's important to consult with someone in your own legal jurisdiction. I think we're going to see really good discounts, and I'm excited about that, because millionaires are made in the bear markets, and it's just key that you position yourself to be ready for this, okay? 2 great clips from Raoul Paul.
I hope Gary Gensler loses his fucking job, because his dragging of his feet and saying we're just going to prosecute anybody that I choose to prosecute in retrospect is no way to regulate the world's largest financial market. It's irresponsible. It's not fair on individuals. It's not fair to shut people out. What they did with XRP, suddenly decided in retrospect, we're going to basically shut them out of the US system. There's a bunch of retail investors who are holding it. They're forced out, or they're forced not to be able to trade their tokens. It's inexcusable. You need to create better guidelines for people. And it needs to be reasonable regulation. You need to listen to the industry and not shut them out and claim that you know what you're doing for your own self-interest of your job. So that's my Gary
Gensler needs to be fired. Not coming from me, coming from an ex-Goldman Sachs executive. And now a great question about Metcalfe's Law and the utility behind XRP.
Here we go. Same old question every time. Jamel, welcome. Question, thoughts on XRP? I've said this a gazillion times. XRP has a real use case. It is being used as a protocol. Retail are held back because of the stupid SEC regulation and ruling that we're waiting for. I think there's a gap risk higher if they get the ruling. There's no gap risk lower as much. There's sure be some speculation. But it's being used, and a chain that's being used for money transmission is a...
So the chain's being used, and he talks about Metcalfe's Law. This means the value of a network, the value of a protocol, exponentially increases in value the more users it gets. In the last year, we saw 800% growth in ODL, on-demand liquidity, for XRP and Ripple. And on-demand liquidity is the product that uses XRP as a token. So we've seen immense growth in the past year when it's been a bear market and there's this lawsuit and all this FUD. Imagine after a favorable lawsuit win, how many protocols are being used, have utility like XRP, and also are in the crosshairs of a lawsuit. Because when a favorable, not if, when a favorable outcome happens for Ripple, who's going to win this lawsuit, you're going to see a crazy price increase. Maybe it doesn't move the price, but I highly doubt that. You're going to see a lot of FOMO from people that weren't really into XRP, but they see the price mooning, kind of like the Flare airdrop 2 years ago when XRP went up to $1. If you guys remember that 2 years ago, in 1 week, it went from like 20 cents to $1. And this is going to be even bigger with the lawsuit, in my opinion. Guys, if you want $41 guaranteed, sign up with Webull, deposit a penny, and you'll get anywhere from $40 to $15K in free stocks. You probably won't get $15K, but there is potential for it. Typically, you get $40 to $300. Invest, sell the stocks, and withdraw it to get crypto. Do what you want, but don't miss out on this because it does end soon. It's limited time. Link is in the video description below. And if you guys are still watching, comment grilled cheese below. By making it to the end of the video, It supports a lot. So let me know that you're one of the loyal viewers, that you're still listening by commenting grilled cheese below. Thank you guys for watching. God bless you. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your families. Until next time.